Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, and we also had Crystal. Now, these two, their relationship has definitely improved from where it started, and that says quite a bit. Now, Deku told Crystal he was going to go investigate things on Earth with the Hulk, and she was worried if Deku still had a concussion, for one. Now, Deku made things quite clear. The Hulk was looking into something. He got angry for a reason, and that is worth checking out. Bruce Banner tries to keep his cool a lot, and from what he doesn't understand, Hulk said something important. Doctor. He was looking for a doctor, and that gave him more questions. Now, after Izuku talked to Bruce Banner, he was pointed towards Hank Pym, and that certainly was interesting. He was told by Dr. Banner that Hank Pym was creating something to protect the world. His heart is in the right place. He's lost everything. He's lost everybody he's ever loved, friends and family. And while his heart is in the right place, his mind is the farthest from the right place. That man's state of mind is in chaos, complete disarray, and making a copy of it and putting it into a robot meant to protect the planet was not a good idea. And Ultron, he was born. Now, Deku, he has been trying to look into and find where Hank Pym might be. And Hank, he is currently found several days later. And Deku, he managed to find that factory Tony left behind with some tech that was going to be for his program to help save people. Now, Deku, he currently is staring at the data on screen. The Iron Legion, an idea Tony had, a massive army of robots, a rescue operation, people who could fight, rescue, and work in tandem, essentially be a left hand to Tony Stark's armor being his right. He could focus on the bad guy, while they focus on saving people. He can act accordingly, and they would react accordingly as well. And Deku, he sees the flaws. He sees the effort it would take. However, he also sees where it's good. I mean, he threw himself at the Hulk and saw how that ended. But an endless army fighting against the Incredible Hulk, eventually he'd either tire him out or overpower him. One of the two. Though he's not too sure which. And this factory, if it is still up and running, it needs more investigation. He needs to recover any tech that could be left behind. And if Tony, yeah, this might be his younger days, so he's not too sure what to expect. His tech might be better. That on Deku's mind. And currently, he has a laying down. Him laying outside the factory as Fred is to alert him. Temperature is currently at 35 degrees. Heaters have been activated. And Deku, here's to walk in. Him feeling a little toasty under their armor, since it just got really warm in here. Now, Deku, he does a walk inside, and currently he does a look around. The factory is showing signs of inhabitants. Deku looking around and bringing his hand up. Him staring at a robot body. One that's been ripped apart. Damaged? No. Deku bringing his hand up. And Friday does a scan it, informing about how deterioration and rust appear to be infecting this unit. And it has been here for over a decade. And that does tell Deku quite a bit of things. And currently he has a turn. Him walking around the factory as Friday, she is beginning her own scans. And Deku, he is using his abilities, finding all the old tech here that does still work. And he does find that there is a network currently active inside. Now, Deku, he does a walk around a corner. Him going to walk down a staircase as to get ready. Currently him bringing his hand up, grabbing the doorknob that's locked, and going to twist it. Right now it going to break as he has to open the door. And it doesn't go to do so. I'm going to back up, we're going to bring his hand up. And send a blast out directly at the door. It blasting off the hinges and flying down. The metal door scratching against the floor as currently someone does come running out. Now, Hank Pym just come running a corner. Him looking up at Deku and staring at him confused. And Deku, he does a step inside, bringing his hand up and asking Mr. Pym if the two can have a word. Now, Hank does to bring his hands up. Him trying to express. Hold on now, hold on. Listen, he can explain. Dr. Pym, me and you need to go now. Listen, your project is good. I will give you that. But you're going about it the wrong way. What are you talking about? Dr. Pym, your project. Listen, your initiative, it needs work. It's flawed, but it's... Listen, put your tools away and stand down. Don't make me fight you. I've already had to deal with Hulk, and he was more than enough. This armor is too advanced for you, especially your tech. Now, Hank does stare directly at Deku, and he does feel a little bit insulted. However, he doesn't have any of his tech currently on, and that, it does make him think a bit. Though, how does he know about that program? I mean, Bruce has been gone for a few days, and, well, he wouldn't give it up. He would just go, huh, wait, no. Gone for a few days, but Bruce has only been gone for a few hours. Why did his mind, his head's feeling weird? Now, Deku, here's a stare at Hank Pym. The man getting very confused and disoriented. And Deku, he has a step forwards. Right now, Hank going to look back up at him as he doesn't freak out. Fact of the matter is, Iron Man is here in Nevada, and it is not good. Now, when Hank does a yell out for him to leave his current base, Deku, he has to pull up their coordinates. And Hank is kinda confused, though it doesn't make sense. And Deku, he does have one idea left. Since Hank Pym clearly does not want to work with him, be reasonable, he's being hysterical. Though, from what he can understand and tell from Friday looking into things, the man may have been drugged. Or it's quite possible, from the fact that he is lacking certain micro-expressions, he could be under someone else's influence. And that means quite a bit. His normal demeanor is returning, but that's because of external stimuli. And it could be a failsafe put in place by somebody who tamper with his mind. Now, Deku, he does try to keep that possibility open, as it does make sense. He's working here like nothing's wrong. Deku walking forwards and stepping past him, staring at much of the tech here, and coming to that conclusion after to see that Hank, he still thinks he's in his lab. Everything is set up differently. Strangely to him, but Hank does turn and act like he knows exactly where he is. And Deku, whenever Hank does turn his back to him, he has to bring his hand up. Him holding it out to Hank, as currently he has sent out a blast. And Hank is struck in the back and zapped. Him falling forwards and onto the ground. As Deku, he does start looking through the notes. And currently Hank's information talks about Ultron, the project he developed, the project that he was making. And then they suddenly cut. I mean, information is here, but it hasn't been touched for several days. So what is this? Some sort of... No, no. That doesn't make sense. Him going to make a phone call. And currently S.H.I.E.L.D., they do come by to pick up Hank Pym. And they do find one simple thing. There is evidence that Hank Pym has his mind tampered with. And it is quite extensive. He didn't know he was in another country. He didn't know he wasn't even in Nevada. Let alone that the research on Ultron was underway. I mean, he had the data there, yes, but he was just putting it on hold to clear his mind. He was just letting it sit there because he needed to focus on his other research. But that's so weird. Why would he need to research Pym particles? He's... Huh. No. Hank is just very confused. His mind is not in the right place. And fact of the matter is, right now, with the brainwashing coming undone, that makes it a bit worse. He's just very unstable to be around. And that means quite a bit. Though Deku, he is more concerned about finding this Ultron. Dr. Banner mentioned a robot, and from what he does understand looking into the research data, it might already have been built. Ultron is out there, and that means quite a lot. Though he needs to look into this more, find out what to do, and head forwards from there. It's going through Deku's mind, as currently he does going to make a bit of a phone call. Him still inside of his armor, as he'll walk out of the room. Him going to turn off external microphones as he does to call Crystal. And Crystal's going to answer the phone. Hello? Hey Crystal, it's me. Hey, are you coming home? Not yet. Maybe not tonight. Oh? Did something pop up? Yeah, no, it's a bit weird, but I finally found him. He was somewhere in... That doesn't really matter. I just found him in an old factory. He just was confused, didn't know what was happening, evidence and signs of brainwashing. Along with the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D., they're pretty sure whatever's out there is out there. Really? Yeah, I'm sure of it too. Listen, I might need some help here. Um, I can ask my sister and see if she can look into it. Well, not not the Inhumans. I mean, I I need approval to launch satellites. Satellites. Yeah, I know it sounds bad. The Inhumans already do have tons of satellites in deep space. They're looking for something. But I need to look for something too. Earthbound. I just need I need the approval for their launch. I can ask her. I appreciate that. No worries. I have an interest in this too. I know. But you don't have to do it for me. No, no. I mean, it's a good incentive, Izuku, but I'm doing this for Earth. I believe that if we can help, Earthlings may one day want to coexist with us and the mutants. Though, we could also use their help if possible. True. I need to bring in Rhodey if I can find him. Though, maybe that's right. Stark satellites. Maybe I can use those. You're gonna try and use Stark Industry stuff? Maybe, but I don't have enough data on them. I'll have to access his. No, no, no. Those things are cloaked, more than likely. If Tony was Iron Man, he would have taken precautions and hidden his satellites well. Stealth tech? Maybe. Maybe. Right. I might need to come home. Really? Yeah. At least until I know a bit more. Now, Deku, he doesn't tell Friday. Give him any alert on if Hank Pym is tampered with. If anybody decides to move him and S.H.I.E.L.D. decides to be a bit sneaky, give him regular updates and focus all systems on Hank Pym. And that, it's easier said than done. And Deku, he does need to do a few things. Number one, find Colonel James Rhodes. Number two, try to maybe get into Stark Industries systems. Yeah, that might be a challenge. Though, stealing data directly off the servers, he'd have to go right into Avengers Tower. Maybe if we can talk to Rhodey and go about things that way, it makes it easier for them. Though he does have to think. Okay. Hmm. Friday. Yes, Zuko. Update parameters for AI. Parameters for AI. Yes. Make a simulation, if possible. Connect it directly to the servers in Adelaide and tell me what you expect. Okay. Any parameters of notice? Take Hank Pym's mind and give it unrestricted morality. Anything else? Run through a simulation of what he could do if he was able to. If he, I don't know, had good intentions, but the bad ideas, wrong ideas. What if he, that's more likely. Run the parameters for Hank Pym creating a killer robot. See what you find. Now, Friday does begin to run the numbers. And Deku, he does get back a few bits of data. I mean, Hank Pym and his unstable psyche. Quite the killer combo. And Deku, he does see a lot of things pop up. Though it's not good. That went through his mind. And Deku, he does try to make a contact with James Rhodes. However, upon getting to Avengers Tower, the man is not here. And that is quite the problem. Now, Izuku, after he doesn't find anybody here, he does try to talk to Jarvis. Him being locked out of the systems because he is not Tony Stark. And fact of the matter is, Iron Man is deceased. Now, Deku, he doesn't leave the tower. Since no one, they're here. And the Avengers are disassembled. He might be on his own for this. No, no. He needs to find James Rhodes. Okay. Well, looks like he is breaking into this place. With that on Izuku's mind. And currently Deku, he does gotta fly away from the tower. Since if he does do anything, Jarvis will immediately activate certain security procedures. But that is what Ultron was expecting. Izuku is being lured into a very, very complicated game. And Ultron, he is a few steps ahead. Izuku's playing by the rules. He is not. He already knows what he wants to do, wants to say, and how to operate a few things. But the boy, yeah, that is where things are tricky. Izuku, he does gotta put this conspiracy to the side for a second. If Ultron, this AI, really was some sort of problem, it would have been aware. He would have been completely botched that. He would have been made aware. He would have done something. Been active. I mean, an evil robot. Great. Of course. Hank Pym. He's complex, intelligent. Come on, Izuku. Look at the data here. The data in front of you. What else can you understand about this man's mind? Smart, irrational, unstable marriage. Right, so. Well, the two are a bit alike. He's obsessed with his work. And that going through Deku's mind. And currently, Deku, he does a walk out of a building. Right now, some people turning and seeing the new Iron Man. And some, they're quite impressed to see Iron Man right now. As Deku, he does bring his hands up with the boxes in his hand. And his suit, it doesn't have something open up. Right now, it's going to expand as Deku's going to set them down onto a platform. It's currently going to slide up sideways and then going to readjust. As Deku, he does have it stored inside of his armor. And some people, they're confused about that. Since that was weird. And they've never seen his suit do that. And Deku, he has a turn, bringing his hand up and going to actually make a peace sign. They're going to blast up fast into the sky. And some people, they're impressed. Iron Man are now exiting the atmosphere and heading back to New Attilan. And Deku, when he does arrive, he does have a lot going through his mind. And Friday was getting a few more things updated and running. As right now Deku, he already had the pieces made and fabricated. He just has to toy around with a few other designs. She's getting ready to make a new set of armor. The Mark 8? No. Another Mark 7? Making a Mark 8. That's gotta be special. Nanotechnology? No. He definitely shouldn't. Maybe one day, but maybe something else first. Right. Okay. Just got to focus on a few other things first. It going through Dick's mind. And currently, he has a land outside of his apartment on the balcony. Going to bring his hands up and gonna get ready. The suit going to open up as Dick is a step out. Going to turn and bring his hand up. Right now, Friday going to bring up the Iron Man arm and extend out the, pocket of the suit. And Deku, he has to grab onto the boxes. Going to pull them up and then going to turn. I'm going to tell Friday what to do. He wants her to take the suit back to the armory, bring on the components he does need, and then go on standby. Focus more data on Earth, and look for anything involving Ultron. And that is what Friday does understand. Her gonna beep as Deku to watch her turn and fly off. Since right now he does have a few ideas. Maybe a new Model 6? No. Model 6 is the Hulkbuster. You can't change that now. No. Model 5 is a good... Based off of the Model 5 and... Okay. No, this is challenging. Right. Okay. So, a Model 8 is needed. Though, he doesn't have many stealth armors. This will definitely be new. Something actually focused on avoiding detection, rather than having. Hmm, right. He's got to work on this well. Make sure it can do things well. He's dealing with Avengers level security. So, we're not Crystal gonna walk out. Deku turning his head, as if someone break from his focus. Her gonna ask him if he's okay. Hmm? Yeah, Crystal, I'm fine. Sorry I've been gone for a few days. It's fine. You're okay, right? Yeah, I am. Listen, Deku holding up a box, talking about it. He stopped by a bakery. Well, he was in his armor, and they sort of gave him it for free. He forgot he didn't have any cash on him. Yeah, so you stopped by a bakery? Why? Uh, let's just say that New Attilan, while they are getting some expansion on their recipes, baked goods are still weird with the stuff you guys have. So, I wanted to introduce you to some Earth cuisine. You guys have that one weird fruit that has that taste. It's like cocoa, but it's not. Cacao? Cocoa. It's chocolate. Oh, I believe I've heard of this. Now, Deku, him and Chris do to walk inside. And Friday, when she does bring everything that Deku needs back to begin to make stealth components, he does get to work on that. Currently, him bringing his hands up and working on a piece. Him with his hand outstretched and staring at the components as the pieces are bending and moving around in the air. Deku sitting there as Crystal does try to ask him if he is alright. And currently, she just don't lay there. Her with her hand on his shoulder. And Deku, he does sit there at the edge of the couch, him on the ground, and with his back leaning against it. Crystal with her hand on Izuku. And Deku, he does sit there trying to think. Right now, him with his hand up and holding on to crystals. His other hand trying to manipulate the technology in front of him. And Crystal, she's staring at the stuff he's doing. It's a bit strange and weird. He's tried to explain a few things about it, but it's still not something that she would think about. And Deku, he is mumbling to himself. He's essentially reworking his shields to, instead of absorbing an impact, to reflect light. Right. It shouldn't be too complicated. Though, if this doesn't work, he'll need to do something else. Hmm. Okay. He's already had the idea of holographic tech? In theory, with projectors. Hmm. Now that's an idea. But within his projectors, he can stealth ops. No. With those projectors, he can project an image of the area behind him and in front of him at the same time, essentially allowing him to have a live feed and. Or no, bending the light around him would be simpler. There's a few options here for stealth, but some need to be superior and better. Along with that, if this suit is going to be stealthy, he needs to make sure to hide his biosignature. I mean, you can't know there's a human there. This has to be perfect. For all intents and purposes, he has to be a ghost. That on Deku's mind. And Izuku, he does think. As Crystal, just sit there with Izuku. The two talking about a few things as she's trying to ask questions about some tech. And when things do get a little bit too technical for her, she does try to change the subject. And Deku, after he does get a few things put together, he does decide to take a break since the rest of it can be put together tomorrow. And if anything does pop up, Friday will tell him. Friday's got his back. Somebody who's been with him his whole time as Iron Man. And that it does mean quite a lot to him. He trusts Friday with his life. And currently Friday, her programming is running around the clock, trying to find Ultron. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.